Today, we're working with our friends at Mankato Motorsports in Mankato, Minnesota.
Hi folks, I'm Nate with Two Guys to Ride. Today we are out here at Mankato Motorsports in Mankato, Minnesota, and we're here with Ryan. Ryan, thanks for being with us today.
Hey, thanks for having me.
And behind us we have this sweet little ride. So Ryan, what are we looking at today?
So today we're looking at a 2021 Can-Am Maverick X3 XRS Turbo RR.
Now talk about a long name.
It's a mouthful, yeah.
All right, so, and you actually have one of these.
I do. It's not this fancy. This is the top of the line model. This is the top dog in the X3 lineup. This one does come equipped with the Smart-Shox, so you'll see that right on top there.
Up here. So just talking about that, run us through the setup here with the suspension in the front.
So it's a trophy truck inspired suspension setup, but it also has the Smart-Shox system, which is self-adjusting. Okay. So compression and rebound is adjusted electronically via sensors.
Okay.
So as you're going through the terrain,
Yep.
the suspension actually detects what's happening and adjusts rebound and compression.
Wow. All automatically. Now, down here, you've got, what's this part right here?
So that's your power steering. So
and there's one on the other side, too.
Yep, so that's your power steering module. It's part of a rack and pinion system.
Okay. So it's covered up with rubber.
Yep, correct.
Okay, and then you got bead locks on the tires here.
Bead lock wheels on the XRS model. These are 30-inch tires, Maxxis Bighorn tires. Just a good all-around tire for sand, mud.
Okay, and they're pretty much the same size, except for the back is wider.
Yeah, they do stagger the setup. The back tires are a little bit wider.
Okay.
They do that just for traction.
But they're the same height.
Yep, overall diameter on the tires is the same.
Okay, and we'll come back here towards the side. I noticed that, you know, there's a lot of area for wind and everything to get in there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not, you got a cover on the top that you can get.
Yep.
I'm sure that's probably an option, or is this standard?
That's standard on the XRS.
Okay.
So it's a wide open machine. I mean, it's designed to go out on that nice hot summer day and go out to the dunes and just enjoy the outdoors.
All right, so you want it as open as possible.
Exactly. Yep.
All right.
That's
so
the idea.
Back here, I like the Fox shocks up here instead of underneath everything. So tell us what we have here.
So that's what they call a remote reservoir. The reason they do that, it keeps the oil cooler.
Okay.
So it keeps that suspension working at top.
Now is that adjusting automatically as well as the front is?
Exactly.
They're both doing okay. So, man. Now
so you've got 24 inches of suspension travel in the rear of this machine. Wow. Which basically means you can get 2 feet off the ground and the tire barely lifts off the ground. And you've got 22 inches of suspension travel in the front.
Now, you say 2 feet. Are you talking that I can be 2 feet from the bottom of this, where this tire sits now, or the bottom of this frame?
So 24 inches means that this tire can go up 12 inches and down 12 inches. So if you get 2 feet off the air, that tire is really only a foot off the air.
That's a lot. That's a lot of travel.
Even while you're in the cab, you feel like you're way off the ground.
Yeah.
This machine keeps you
like
tracking
those trophy
straight.
trucks.
Yep. It keeps you tracking straight. It keeps you feeling like you're in control.
And what's the travel in the front?
22 inches.
Well, so that's about the same.
About the same.
Now, since we're back here and we can see the engine here, I like the looks of it. You know, with a single exhaust coming out in the back here, that just looks really neat. But what kind of an engine do we have?
So this is a Rotax 900 Ace engine. BRP's been running this engine for a long time. It's one of their most reliable, just nicely powered engines. It's an inline 3-cylinder, so triple cylinder, dual overhead cam, and this is also turbocharged with an intercooler.
So producing roughly how much horsepower?
This is rated at 195 horsepower.
Okay, it's probably about double my first car.
Roughly about double what other utility vehicles are running.
Hey, that's a lot of horsepower. Yeah. Oh man! Now the lights while we're back here, these are all, I'm assuming, LEDs.
Yep. LEDs are very common nowadays.
Standard,
so these are your
much.
Signature tail lights with LED lighting. They also run the Signature LED lights up front.
Okay.
Halogen bulbs. You've got high beams, low beams, which light up very well at night.
All right, so we're like back here in the motor compartment. If someone were to want to do their own servicing, where you know, obviously the oil pan's underneath. Where's your oil filter?
The oil
that
filter
easy to
is
get at?
actually closed. It's closed in here. There's a cover right here.
Oh, sure. Okay, I see that.
So you've got a aluminum cover. There's 3 bolts. You pop that filter out of there. It's a kind of a cartridge style filter. It just pops in there.
Okay.
There's a drain bolt right up underneath. You can access it through the skid plate.
Okay.
Air filters located on the driver's side. It's easy to check, easy to maintain.
Oh.
So the actual air box is located right there.
Okay.
Now the intake runs up, so there actually is a pre-filter located in this box here.
Right there.
So if you want to clean out any dust or debris, you can access that box there, and there's actually a screen type pre-filter
So you can
before it
get
actually
that.
gets to the intake.
Okay. And then this will all these holes in the back match BRP's aftermarket products or the accessories, I should say, where you can get coolers that will fit right into these notches,
Correct.
that kind of stuff.
Yep, so BRP, they have their own accessory lineup,
Yep.
which is included with the Link setup. So the Link setup is literally just 2 attachments that just pop in. So you drop them in, you pop them with 1 tab, they're locked in.
Okay. So since you have one of these, you've probably been through the accessory catalog.
I've seen a few things.
So
Yeah.
give us just an idea, besides a cooler, what would make sense back here? What can you do?
So what a lot of people do is they actually run a spare tire carrier up top here.
Oh, yeah.
So you can get one that kind of mounts to the top of the roll cage
Okay.
here. So you have your spare tire up top, and then they put a cooler box or a cargo box underneath that.
Okay.
That's what's optimizing the most storage.
Okay.
How people are utilizing the space on these things, because there really isn't a lot.
No.
But there are accessories that really help you utilize the usable space.
Is there a cooler that actually goes the whole length?
Yeah, yep. So the cooler actually does wrap around all the way
Okay.
from side to side. It's got a drain plug in it. You can drain out all your ice, and they make pivoting racks like that one you'll see over there with
Okay.
that spare on it.
Oh,
That-
yeah.
That pivoting rack will actually slide
Go
up,
up.
and actually you can still access your cooler while you're out on the trail.
Now, if I want to just check my oil, where's the dipstick?
Well, that's going to be located here on the driver's side. It's a little bit tricky to get to. So in between these 2 ducts, this is your vent line for your duct on your CVT belt,
Okay.
and that's your intake. Just sneak in between here,
Oh, there it is right there.
then you're going to spin your dipstick off.
Okay.
And you'll be able to check that out. So it's a little bit tricky if you're new to it,
But once you learn out where
but
it
once
is.
you know where it is, you'll never.
No problem. Okay, so then as far as getting access, say, to the radiator is going to be in the front.
Yep. So the radiator's up front. You want that cool air coming through
Yep.
the radiator.
So how hard is it to get to where's the reservoir tank for it?
The reservoir tank's actually back here.
It is
kind
in
of,
the back.
kind of by your intercooler there.
Oh,
That's a
so you
coolant
just
tank.
take that cover off,
Yep.
and then you can get at that to do a
Correct.
refill to check it?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Your coolant lines are going to run front to back, and they run all up underneath the machine.
Now, these lights right here, these are just reflectors, right?
That's literally just a reflector.
Okay,
Yep.
and then the front lights, we had these on earlier, but you've got, your low beams are basically one solid lens, and then you've got a kind of a half moon lens next to that.
Yep.
And then you've got a set of tri-lights or tri-LEDs for your high beams are
Correct. Yep.
placed a little bit lower than that.
Yep.
And then, of course, you got the signature lighting up here that you can turn on or off if you want.
Yeah,
but
those
it's
are
kind of
kind
like daytime driving lights. I mean, they don't give me any real light for driving at night, but they look great.
Yeah, it's just more of a signature light so that people can recognize you coming down the road. People want you to know you're in a Can-Am.
Right.
That's the reason why they.
That's
put
right
those
there. Oh, yeah. Well,
on.
obviously,
And you can
yeah.
tell when you're coming down the road.
Right?
Yep. So this one comes standard with the 4-point harness.
Okay.
It's got an ergo lock type cockpit, so when you are sitting in this thing, you really feel like you're locked in there. You
Which
you
is what
feel
you want
safe,
in
you feel
case
secure.
you go over. You're
Exactly.
not going to fly out of it or get hurt.
Yep. It's a very comfortable seating position. Just fit and finish on this machine is just it's stellar. It's an outstanding machine. So we're gonna reach right in here. There's a little strap. It's a suicide style door.
Oh, I like that.
Yep.
Okay.
Makes it easier to get in and out of.
So, like you said, there's not a lot of storage on this vehicle, but you've got some. I like these seats. They're kind of funky.
Yep. So these are actually
With the-
inspired by Ferrari. Ferrari actually helped design these seats
Really?
for Can-Am. Correct.
So this may be the world's cheapest Ferrari.
It sometimes feels that way.
It does go back and forth, right? So you have a little bit of leg
Yep. So
adjustment.
you do have an adjustable seat. You can move forward and back with it.
Okay.
It's a lot easier to do while you're sitting in it. But there's also drop bolts at the bottom. You can actually drop the front of this seat
I see
down.
that. Yep.
Yep. It's got kind of a laid back setup, but you can actually drop it and make it more of a straight up type seating position.
Okay, so I mean, even though it's not a change on the fly, you know, a 10, 15 minute, take some nuts and bolts apart, you could change that.
2 bolts, you can drop the front of that seat and
Oh, so you don't have to change it back. It's just
down to the front.
it makes it even easier.
change those 2 bolts and drop it down and change
Yeah,
your seating
you do have, I mean, as it's set up currently, with the seat up, you do have probably close to 6 inches of storage underneath the passenger seat. I mean, that's,
Yeah.
you got to fit it between the bar in here, so 6 inches is maybe a little bit of maybe we should say it's about 4 inches.
Sure.
But once you get under the seat, you've got 6 inches.
Sure.
So you can fit, 2 boxes in there and put them on top of each other,
Yep.
if you want to. But you got some storage, and we're always looking for little areas that people can store things. So you got looks like plenty of foot room, but I'm going to step in there,
Sure. Help
and
yourself.
you're a little taller than I am.
I've got a brother who's 6'5", and he fits in mine
Oh.
fairly well. I was
Okay.
surprised.
This is wow, yeah. This is roomy. I know you can't see, but my feet are just sort of just resting.
Yep. And you've got maybe 1 notch back. You might be all the way back.
Okay, well, I am all the way back, but yeah, I am comfortable.
Feel comfortable?
I don't feel like my knees are up. They're bent, but I mean, this is more than I expected.
Yeah.
I was expecting to be more like this.
Yeah, you're definitely not cramped in
And
this machine.
I mean, it's comfortable. You got a nice big slant where your feet go. So right now the seatbelts are digging into
Yeah.
my back here. I
Yeah.
got to move them a minute because if these are Ferrari-inspired seats, I want them to be Ferrari comfortable and supportive. Yeah.
You don't want to be slipping and sliding around in there. Not at all.
Not at all. So nice. I like the Ferrari seats. Okay,
It's a nice touch.
it is. Now on the center console here, you've got 2 cup holders right here. Okay, and then you've got another storage area down in here.
Yep, so there's a little tray down there. You can put your gloves down
And
there.
there's no extra 12-volt outlet or anything buried in there. It's just storage.
There's 12-volt right up here.
Right up
so
there.
if you got to charge your phone or get a USB port or something.
Okay, and then this right here. Is this-
Just an access panel.
okay.
So if you got to check your brake fluid.
Okay. All right. So this does not have a stereo in it.
Nope.
But if it did, this would be where some of those speaker grills would go.
Correct. So Can-Am does come with an add-on stereo system. It actually would mount right down here.
Okay.
So there's going to be the head unit down there. You're going to have front speakers, and then there's going to be speakers that come in the back.
Okay. Would you still have some storage down here, even with that head unit in there, or does the head unit take up
It's
the
going to
whole
take
thing?
up the majority of that
Okay.
space.
So you can't really count on having that storage space if you get a head unit.
No, that glove box in front of you does have quite a bit of storage.
Okay.
So that lid just pops right up.
So a little bit of a pull there to get it up, but yeah, this is that's deep.
Yep.
Which is nice.
Yeah. If
Some
you want,
things
if you
just wanna
got
keep
a
separate.
wet pair of gloves, you want to keep them separate from your dry stuff. It is.
I wasn't
sealed
worried,
up.
I
Sealed
wasn't
up
worried
fairly
about
well.
the wet gloves. Depends on how you're driving. This is just
That's just your grab
an
handle
oh shit grab handle.
for the hang on tight.
This is the hang on tight handle, okay? And then just a very simple reverse neutral and high.
Yep. Pretty simple
And then,
gated
there's
shifter.
low. Okay, I couldn't see it, and then park. So standard gear selector. It is a push start though.
It is a push start. Yep. Digitally encoded key, push start and stop. You got a scroll pad there for your power steering, your gauge cluster.
Right here.
Yep. So you can kind of navigate through your menu.
Oh man, look at that. Okay, so we got OK button in the middle, then you got trip, you got DPS, and then you've got menu and drive mode. So if I hit trip,
Yep. It's going to show.
trip A, trip B, and then an overall.
Yep. It'll show hours as well,
Okay.
so you can check your
And then,
engine time, your mileage.
Explain DPS.
So dynamic power steering. So Can-Am has what's called dynamic power steering. There's going to be 3 modes. There's min, medium, and max. So you can basically set how light or how heavy you want that steering wheel. And the nice thing about the DPS, the dynamic power steering, is it actually self-adjusts at higher speeds. So when you're going faster, it tones down the power steering so the steering doesn't feel so touchy.
Okay, I like that. Then you got drive modes. This has a few. So
Yep.
You got eco mode here, which is just going to give you a better fuel economy.
That, and it's going to delay throttle response, so the throttle's
Okay.
not so instant.
Yep. And then let's see. Oops, I missed the second one here. Eco mode, sport mode. That is going to increase your throttle
Sport mode's
response.
just going to be all-out power, instant throttle response.
Okay. And then if I go out more, oh, that's the two modes. Okay. Then if I go to menu, you're going to get speed stats. You're going to have engine temp, battery voltage, settings, RPM. So you can get quite a bit of information right there. And if I go into settings and I press OK, now I can get things like speed / RPM.
Yep, so you can
Units.
So you can kind of adjust your gauge, and you know, if you want to watch RPMs, you can. If you want to watch engine temp, you can. It'll track your top speed. It'll keep track of how fast you went.
Okay, and these are obviously all waterproofed as well.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
then you got your two-wheel drive and then your front diff lock.
Yep.
Now, this has, it's not, is it on the fly? The front diff lock?
Yep. So this one is equipped with Smart-Lok.
There you go.
Yep.
So explain that to us.
So Smart-Lok is a self-adjusting front differential. So it actually detects slippage and will actually drive more power to that wheel.
Okay.
So it'll actually help you in tough situations like mud and rock crawling and things like that.
Okay. All right, so that's the switch right there. So you got 4x4, 2x4, and then the front diff lock. Then you've got Trail or Trail Active.
Yep. And that's your Smart-Lok front differential.
Okay, so if you're on
an-
Trail, it's off. If you're on Trail Active, it's on.
Yep, Trail Active is going to be your more aggressive type driving.
Okay. And then we've got an additional couple modes down here. You've got Comfort, which I assume is just going to delay throttle, kind of like eco mode.
So that's part of the Smart-Shox that we talked about.
Okay.
So there's three levels of suspension settings built
So
into
this is for suspension, not your drive modes.
Correct.
Okay.
So Comfort is for your casual cruising.
Okay.
You're not doing anything wild. You get into Sport and Sport Plus. That's when you're starting to get into rock crawling. You know, if you're on a racetrack and you're hitting a whoop section, you know, where you need that suspension to stiffen up, that's where you would need that Sport Plus.
Wow. And then does it have these don't have a rear diff lock, do they?
No.
It's just the
They keep
front
their
diff
diff lock up front.
Okay. And then you've got, of course, your this is an override button. What does that do?
So that override button is actually for reverse. So reverse will limit your speed, but if you're in a tough situation where you got to back up quicker, you can hold that override and it won't limit your speed in reverse.
But you got to be holding it.
You got to hold it.
So if you're
Yep.
if you push it and you back up and you're going 40 miles an hour and you let go of the button, it's going to immediately slow you back
It'll
down.
slow you down. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And then over on the, of course, the left is just the headlight control switch.
Yep. So you got your headlight control switch there, and a couple extra spots for accessories. So if you want to add light bars, you know, power switch for a windshield wiper if you have a windshield.
Okay, we should point out we got another one up here on the right-hand side as well that you could put a switch in. So these aren't dummy switches, things that you could normally get. These are left purposely open.
Yep.
So they're kind of like some of the vehicles do today.
Yep. They're very easy to accessorize. The manufacturers
All right.
do a very good job of building it so you can accessorize it very easily.
Okay, now back here, I don't think there's any storage right here. And this is just, again, air vents, air intake.
Yep. So
Right
this
in
is
here.
actually your intake for your air filter and your turbo.
Okay. And one last question. Well, two questions for you. Two last questions. One is, how fast do they go?
Top speed on these is about 92.
Okay,
Yeah.
92.
92, 93.
Wow. That's cooking.
It's going pretty fast, especially
in
off
open
road.
air. Yeah.
Especially off road.
Yeah. Okay, so I have one last question for you. What's your favorite memory in yours so far?
Well, I've only had it for 5 months,
Okay.
but I would say just the first time, just getting it out and having my wife in the passenger seat and actually jumping it.
I bet
And seeing her reaction.
You're still married.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
well then it had to be
hasn't
somewhat of
br-
a success.
Hasn't been a deal breaker yet.
All right, so being that we're at Mankato Motorsports, this vehicle is actually currently for sale on the floor.
This one is still for sale.
This
It's
does
a
not have a sold mark on it yet.
Nope, this is still a 21 model. They were very hard to get all year. This one
Like
kind of
everything.
this one kind of snuck in under the radar, and summer came to an end. But if you're living in the South and you want to get your hands on one of these, we still have.
You ship everywhere, don't you?
Oh, absolutely.
And then you have a full line of accessory parts.
Yep, full line of accessories.
If
We
you
have
don't
a
have
great-
them in store, you can order them.
Absolutely. Yep, straight from the Can-Am website.
So, one-stop service.
Absolutely.
And again, they ship anywhere in the United States.
Anywhere in the U.S., if you need it, we can get it to you.
All right. Well, Ryan, thank you so much for sharing your expertise and your time with us. We sure appreciate it.
Hey, thanks, Nathan.
Been a pleasure.
Pleasure.
Thanks for watching.